Hi, everybody. It's Kristena with Kristena West Art. And today we're going to do another episode on art and healing. And this is an initiation story. So let me talk a little bit about what initiation actually means. Today is a very special day because this is going to be a initiation story, a story of a dream that I had many years ago and the research that I did in real life, and also going and meeting the Native American elders because of the dream and having a talk with them about the meaning of the dream and why it came. It was actually a series of dreams that came in the summer of 1998. I was in the Foundation of Shamanic Studies, and I was in the 3-year advanced training and then doing all the other trainings and working with indigenous shamans. So it was a deep dive into remembering the ancient ceremonial traditions, but also the completely different way of life from the materialistic modern age. And so many of us today think we know what that means, materialism. But if you work with shamans or you study the Western mystery traditions, or you work with your dreams and you work across the threshold at night consciously, then you begin to develop the ancient ways of knowing, which is a slow down. We begin to open our perception, we begin to open our consciousness, we expand in the light, usually, with our creativity. And this is something that can't be given. This is something that every single human being has to learn by themselves. Isn't that wonderful? So, this is an initiation story. So let me tell you what initiation actually means. It has many different connotations, but initiation actually means to start. To be initiated means that the anima mundi, the world soul, has perceived you in a certain way. And this isn't something that we do on our own. This is when you get a touch on the shoulder with a dream. This was actually what the elders told me. You've been touched. This takes us out of the realm of the American or materialistic mindset and drops us into what shamans call a non-ordinary reality. Now, you don't have to study shamanism to have an experience of non-ordinary reality. We've seen that in the best-selling book, Spiritual Emergency, how many people are called to a different path through death, divorce, illness, or out of body or other worldly experiences. Even mental health can be a signpost of being called to another walk in our life, another path. And for me, dreams have always been a conscious and, how do I say this? My dream work has always been with a really strong dose of a scientific, realistic, no drama, no fantasy. Well, I have to admit, at the beginning, I was a bit into fantasy, thinking I was very special. But the truth is, we all have this new consciousness, and we have to learn it by working with it. So I'm a rigorous student and I love research. So that's what I did. I would always, if I had a dream, I would write it in my dream journal of, 40, 50 years of dream work. And then I would research it. And I wouldn't just say, oh, I had this marvelous dream. Let me tell you about it. I actually didn't talk about it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years because they were my personal medicine, right? They're medicine dreams. But the dream I'm going to tell you today is a medicine dream for the community. I was actually told to teach this in a dream by a Navajo woman. So again, I'm just going to start with, what does initiation mean? To be initiated means to be initiated by the spiritual worlds. The vast anima mundi, the world soul, takes you into their consciousness. That basically, okay? So as a cautionary tale, if you have somebody telling you online that they're going to initiate you, beware. Okay? Because only the spiritual worlds can initiate you, not somebody online. Okay? Yes. So my girlfriend who lived in Utah said, why don't we were both in the advanced shamanic training, and she said, why don't you come out and spend the summer with me? And she had a fabulous place, and she was a seamstress. Well, that's not what she was. She's an absolutely unbelievably fabulously talented artist who happens to work with fabrics, and she's won many awards. So let's be clear about that. And I jumped at the chance. I just put everything in storage and I took off. So this was in the summer of 1998. I was driving through southern Utah, and I spent the night in a small town called Moab. And that night, a dream visited me that changed my life. I am standing before a Navajo woman. She is ageless. The plains on her face are beautiful, with the landscape behind her. She tells me, looking at me straight in the eyes, you must teach the story of the twins. It is a teaching or healing story for the people. As I look over her shoulder, I spy two young Native American boys pedaling fiercely on their red tricycles, their long black hair flying behind them. They are in a neighborhood, tearing in and out of their neighbors' adobe gates. They are mischievous, bold, and dynamic. Upon awakening, I wonder if I'm close to a Navajo reservation. And I went to get coffee in the morning just at the local coffee shop. And I asked the man behind the counter, was I close to a Navajo reservation? And he looked at me like, oh my God, because I really didn't know. And he said, you're right next to the largest Navajo reservation. So I just note all this in my dream journal, and I took off. But what I also do is I start researching, because dreams don't come to tell you what you already know. They come to tell you what you don't know. So working with dreams isn't a passive thing. Do something. Go on a journey. Go find out. Travel. Do a road trip. Then it's really part of our duty as a conscious human to say thank you. Here's some tobacco. How do I do this? How can I complete this request if you decide to do it? I went to my friend's house and we started working. We were doing our shamanic costumes, which are super secret and you'll never see them. And we were making costumes for upper world teachers and our lower world teachers. And these were tremendous outfits that we were making. And that was the summer we made these shamanic costumes, because we were going to dance and ritual with our cadre, our troop. And a book actually fell off the shelf, hand to God. And I remember it hit the floor because I looked it up, and it said Marie Louise von France. And I picked it up and opened the book, and it opened to creation stories. Now, I'm not an indigenous person, so I was studying shamanism. So the chapter of the book said the two creators, and my body had that karmic body blow where I had chills all over my body. Right. And I bought the book and I started the research. And I was astounded to find out that there are countless twins stories cross-culturally all over the world. I wasn't to know that at the time because this was like a 3 to 5 year study that I entered into on creation stories and the twins. So the next year, in the summer of 1999, I drive to the Navajo and Zuni Pueblo near the Four Corners region to see if I can find an elder who might be willing to speak with me about the twins' story. And what you need to know as a little background is many white anthropologists, males, have done this. And the Native American elders are very leery of talking to white people. And because they call them the story eaters. And that's because they come and they want to get the information and then they go take it for themselves and they write a book on it and say, they figured this out. And we're talking sacred lineage that's timeless, that goes back into the great, great, great unknown. So I didn't know this either when I went down there because I was very much like the fool. I was just on a journey. And the landscape, you can't ignore the landscape when every land, every part of the land has a land spirit, has a oversoul that works with it. And when you drive into the Navajo and Zuni pueblos, you are surrounded by red rock, and you can see where they got the kachinas, the beautiful kachinas, because the rocks themselves are spirit beings. And it's a spine-tingling experience. So I was able, we have friends in the shamanic world that we worked in. We had an Apache shaman, Felipe, that I've talked about before. And we also were told how you work with elders and you bring them gifts, but we were still pretty clueless. And I'm able to speak with a Zuni elder, and I tell him my dream and some of the research. And the thing with the elders is you don't look them straight in the face, eye to eye. I didn't know that either. It's not respectful. And they do this. They look at you this way with short glances as they talk to you. So I told him my story, and it took him a while to realize that I was not an anthropologist in hunt of a quick story, but a sincere woman who had a spirit dream. When he understood this, he changed his tone and said, "You have been touched." With brief sideways glances at me, he told me that the twins are part of the sacred Zuni ceremonial dances, and they come out in the winter solstice, that they are indestructible. They cannot be overcome or hurt. In these dances, the gods merge with the dancers who are initiated and prepared for this. These dances keeps the world going. One twin, killer of enemies, is the right hand, and the other, child of water, is the left hand. So in the Navajo tradition, the Navajo story of the twins outlines that changing woman, the earth goddess, is impregnated with the light of the sun. Changing woman had twins, child of water and monster slayer. They go on a quest to find their father, the sun. Overcoming many tests with help of their allies, the twins pass the tests that their father gives them. The father gives the boys gifts to slay the monsters of the earth. To one, he gives the lightning bolt, the straight bolt of lightning. And to the other, he gives the blue flashing lightning. With these gifts, the boys go back to Earth, destroy the monsters, and set the world to rights so the Earth can prosper and balance is regained. It is very compelling that the ancient Hindu twins are also associated with lightning. And so we have the twins associated with lightning. And lightning is also an initiation into the Heyoka tradition, the clowns. But that's for another time. So that's the story of the twins. The dolls are about 14 inches. When I went to a thrift store, because I was, of course, filled with this energy as an artist, what am I going to do? How am I going to teach the story of the twins? I've been asked to teach the story of the twins. I went to the thrift store and I found these doll heads. They were just unfired porcelain. And they were these beautiful faces with a dome, not a dome of the head. The head stopped here and this part was empty. And I looked at these and I thought, and they had little necks, and I thought, I'm a nationally recognized doll maker. So I thought I can make twins out of these. And there was two heads. So I just bought them, went home, and I made these very simple bodies. And this was some cloth with little shimmery sequins. And I painted the faces beautiful, dark, deep night color with some white, some of the fake fur that you get. And I made these two dolls, these twin dolls, and they're boys, and they have little boy icons on them as well, which you can't see it in the video. So this is a tapestry that is about 8 feet long, and it is the Child of Water. This is a mask of my face, and I have the two fishes that I beaded and wrapped the head in and I had a wonderful old-fashioned pearl necklace that you wore in the 50s, and it was part of the stash I have as a costumer and a fashion designer. And I created this beautiful head in iridescent fabrics that shimmered. On both sides, you see the lightning bolts. And at the very bottom, there's Killer of Enemies, another mask of myself with the lightning striking, activating the twins. So this is another way that we can work as artists, making healing art. So this art is actually empowered, not by me, but by the spiritual worlds, because I was touched in a dream and given a task. You must, that's what she said, you must teach the story of the twins. It's a healing story for the people. So there's much more to the twin story, but I think for Holy Saturday, we will stop here and thank the twins for coming, and also that there's much more to the story. This is deep initiation wisdom in the tradition of the Navajo and the Zuni, which I am not initiated into, by the way. He did give me wonderful tips, however, that I researched for the next few years that gave me a different idea and a deeper understanding of their wisdom. Again, remember that to be initiated is given to you by the spiritual world. May we all be touched by a healing dream, and to make art with meaning and art with healing embedded in it. All this art has a empowered element. It is healing because it was given to me by the spiritual worlds. And so that people can live into this healing story, which is a medicine story for the people. That's what she said. It's a healing story for the people. It's a teaching story for the people. And the entire world is the people, all of us. And ho to the twins, Monster Slayer and Child of Water. This is Kristena West. Please subscribe for weekly vlogs on art and healing from a medicine path, from a shamanic path, from a Western mystery tradition path. I have classes at Kristena West Art on esoteric dream work. You can start your own dream practice. I have classes that I've developed because I've worked with men and women on gender for your right livelihood, your life purpose. And those are up. I have wonderful art classes to teach you how to do a Frida Kahlo or a priestess, and an introduction to the divine feminine. All these classes are Kristena West Art. I've been teaching since the 90s and led men and women's groups since the 90s. So have a wonderful day and let's get creative. And I want to remind you, we're doing a very, very extra special, never before offered anywhere in the world, a shamanic soul retrieval doll class. It is a completely new concept. It's something that's come out of my own research and training. And I'm a trained shamanic counselor and healer and been doing soul retrieval work. I was trained by Sandy Ingerman back in the 90s. And soul retrieval is one of my specialities. And so is shadow work, by the way. So we're going to be making a doll for ourselves to call our soul back home. The registration for the class is now open and you can sign up for it. And it's going to be sometime in May. I'm still working on it. I'm going to teach you in the process of making the doll how to call your soul back home, how to reclaim your power, how to go find the lost parts of your soul and bring them back. We're going to do it together and we're going to make a doll and empower the doll. And this is going to be your talisman for your life to empower yourself now in the world. It's about time, don't you think?